Is it time for the Red Sox and Yankees to make a deal? What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Red Seat Radio. My name is Corbin, and the Red Sox trading with the Yankees feels a bit taboo, right? They've been rivals for decades. Their fan bases don't exactly love each other, and the prospect of the Red Sox making the Yankees better or the Yankees making the Red Sox better feels just wrong. But it's been done before, and right now there's a trade proposal floating around that could make too much sense for either side to ignore. So what we're going to do in today's video is we're going to break down that trade proposal. We're going to talk about why it makes sense for the Red Sox, why they should be interested in trading with the New York Yankees. We're going to talk about why it might not make sense for either side, and we're going to talk about what the likelihood of a trade like this happening really is. But before we get into that, do me a favor. Make sure you guys have hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. If you're new here, we talk Red Sox content almost every single day. Also, make sure you guys hit the like button on this video as well. Helps these videos out a ton, and it would mean a lot to me. Don't forget, we are still raising money for Movember. The mustache is still on my face, so we have not reached our goal yet. That link is in the description of this video and in the pinned comment in the comment section. If you want to donate, click that link today. Thank you all very much for clicking on this one. Let's get into it. Okay, so the trade we're talking about today that has been floated around by different media members would be a 1-for-1 swap with the New York Yankees, sending Alex Verdugo to the Bronx and bringing in Gleyber Torres. Now, this trade for the Red Sox may make a pretty decent amount of sense. Gleyber Torres had a really productive 2023 where he was essentially the Yankees' best hitter aside from Aaron Judge, posting a 273 average with a 347 on base percentage and a 453 slug, good for a 118 OPS plus, or about 18% more productive this season at the plate than the average hitter in Major League Baseball. Now, to go along with that above average production, he also had a pretty decent power season. He had 25 home runs and finished with 28 doubles. But not only that, Gleyber Torres was also a really difficult guy to strike out. In 2023, he had a K rate of 14.6%, which put him in the 91st percentile in all of Major League Baseball. What this means is that only 9% of qualified Major League hitters had a lower strikeout rate than Gleyber Torres. It was a really productive season for Torres, but this isn't entirely out of the norm. In fact, over his entire career in Major League Baseball, his numbers were eerily similar to what he was able to do in 2023. Over his full 6 seasons in the major leagues, he has a 267 average with a 334 on base percentage and almost identical to 2023 454 slug, good for a 115 OPS plus, or again, about 15% better than the average hitter in Major League Baseball during that time. The reason this makes so much sense for the Red Sox is because Gleyber Torres is a right-handed power bat. The Red Sox don't need a ton offensively going into the 2024 season, but the one thing Craig Breslow has made apparent and feels apparent if you just look at this lineup is that the Red Sox are missing that right-handed power right now. Yes, the Red Sox do have Trevor Story, and yes, I do believe he'll be a big factor in this team's success in 2024, mainly because hopefully we're getting the first fully healthy season from Trevor Story, but outside of him, you don't really have that right-handed bat in the middle of the order that can break up the sort of onslaught of Massa, Devers, Tristan Casas, maybe even throw Jarren Duran in there. Gleyber Torres could 100% be that guy. On top of that too, the Red Sox could easily slot Gleyber Torres into the second base position as they don't really have anyone to fill that hole for 162 yet on their roster. So Gleyber Torres does make some sense, but there are some drawbacks to the Red Sox trading for Gleyber Torres. The biggest one being his defensive metrics. In 2023, he finished with -3 outs above average, which was just in the 17th percentile in all of Major League Baseball, putting him as a well below average defender, which unfortunately is a bit of a trend for Gleyber. He's never been a great defensive player. In fact, the only season where he's had a positive defensive run saved, outside of that, in his 6 seasons of Major League Baseball, he has a -3 defensive run saved at second base, right? For the Red Sox, that could be a bit of a pain point. 2023 was very clearly not a good defensive year for the Red Sox, and what you're giving up is a Gold Glove caliber right fielder for a well below Gold Glove caliber second baseman. So there could be some issues there on the Red Sox side. On the Yankees side of things, one of the clearly big things that the Yankees are going to focus on this offseason, outlined by Brian Cashman himself, is high contact hitters, preferably from the left-hand side, and also some outfielders, right? Alex Verdugo is both of those things. He's a high contact hitter, and he plays the outfield. On top of that too, he's a left-handed hitter that the Yankees could really use. Despite the fact that Alex Verdugo flat out gave up at the end of the year, he still finished with a 100 OPS plus, which is league average at the plate. And despite the pretty terrible ending for Alex Verdugo's 2023 season, he still managed to be in the 94th percentile in whiff rate and the 88th percentile in strikeout rates. You're also getting a Gold Glove defensive outfielder, and you're getting a guy in Alex Verdugo who could very easily, if given a competitive team in a competitive year, be your top of the lineup left-handed contact bat, or even be the bottom of the lineup left-handed contact bat that the Yankees could use desperately. So the fits make sense on both sides, but it doesn't stop there. On top of statistically making sense for either team, Gleyber Torres and Alex Verdugo are both on the last year of arbitration, meaning that neither team is giving up more control than the other. And for both teams, it fixes a bit of a logjam issue. For the Red Sox, in the outfield right now, they have a ton of options. They've got Ceddanne Rafaela, Jarren Duran, Wilyer Abreu, Roman Anthony, who's making his way up very, very quickly. You've got Rob Refsnyder, you got Massa. You have like 8 or 9 different outfield options going into 2024. Trading away Alex Verdugo for another need where you don't have that problem could be exactly what the Red Sox are looking for. And for the Yankees, you've got Oswald Peraza, who is a very highly touted prospect who's fighting for second base time as well. Taking Gleyber Torres out of that equation could make sense for the New York Yankees. So the fit is there. The fit makes sense for both sides, but is this trade even possible? And what would it take to pull this off? I think when we're looking at the odds of a trade like this happening, despite the fact that it feels like a perfect fit for both sides, the odds are extremely low. And I think the biggest reason for this is egos. It's a 1-for-1 deal, not only interdivisionally, but also with who many people consider your biggest rival, right? Despite the rivalry not really being there in both years, sort of conversations around if this trade doesn't work out for the Red Sox and Craig Breslow's first year of CBO would be absolutely disastrous. Brian Cashman would catch a ton of heat if Alex Verdugo doesn't do well and Gleyber Torres is a perfect fit in Boston. I think egos on either side of this will hold this trade back. But on top of that, there's also other reasons too why this trade may not be very likely. And for the Red Sox, it's that trade-off on defense that we talked about, right? The Red Sox don't technically have to trade Alex Verdugo. Most fans assume that he will be traded this offseason, and it makes sense because of the logjam in the outfield, but he's a great defensive outfielder. And if you figure out a way to not have him essentially give up for the last 7 weeks of the season, he could be a really productive member of your lineup as well. They don't have to trade that away. Giving him away and really sort of making your defense significantly worse in both losing a Gold Glove defender and gaining a well below average defender despite his offensive numbers could be something that holds the Red Sox back, specifically because defense has been such a pain point for this Red Sox team over the last couple of years, right? I think in terms of the Red Sox, that's what's holding it back. On top of that, for the Red Sox, they can go out and go a different route than Gleyber Torres and not have to risk that 1-for-1 trade, right? There are going to be other second basemen made available on the open market. Maybe you take a chance in free agency on a Tim Anderson. Maybe you go with a Whit Merrifield who will give you better defense but won't give you the same offensive production as Gleyber Torres. Maybe you trade for a Jonathan India. There are other routes outside of going 1-for-1 with the New York Yankees that could be a bit more appealing to the Boston Red Sox, who again, you've got Craig Breslow in his first year of CBO. Is he going to want to be that guy who makes a 1-for-1 trade major league impact immediately with the New York Yankees and risk that sort of falling apart and have those storylines just thrown everywhere for the entire season? I don't know though, right? There might be another way to get in a second baseman that can start every day, give you some production offensively, and not have to worry about the backlash that would come with the New York Yankees. Making this trade for the Red Sox kind of unlikely, right? It doesn't seem like this would be something the Red Sox would be interested in doing all that much. In terms of the Yankees and why it wouldn't be likely from their end, the Yankees love Gleyber Torres. Cashman loves Gleyber Torres, and the value that he holds on Gleyber Torres may be higher than what he's actually worth, which could be a big stopping point for both the Red Sox and the Yankees. If the Yankees demand more or the Yankees don't want to get rid of Torres, that could be a possibility as well. And two, again, kind of like the Red Sox, they don't have to trade Gleyber Torres, right? There are options on the free agent market that could sort of figure out their problems as well. Cody Bellinger's one, a Korean player who just made available for major league teams in Jung-Hoo Lee is a high contact type left-handed outfielder who also has pretty decent defense. They could go the route of free agency as opposed to going with the Red Sox and trying to make this one-for-one trade, which is a big risk trade, right? And I don't know if either team is going to want to take that big risk in a one-for-one type deal. But at the same time, too, if one of them wants to come to the table and be like, look, I understand that this could end up being a big loss for one of these sides. Neither of us want to lose this trade, but it just makes too much sense to not talk about it. That could be something that's brought up, and I think if this trade gets put on the table, it makes a lot of sense for both teams. I know there are going to be Yankee fans who don't like this. I know there are going to be Red Sox fans who don't like this, and as much as it pains me to think about Alex Verdugo playing in the Bronx and Alex Verdugo wearing pinstripes, probably about the same amount as it pains Yankee fans to think about Gleyber Torres with a beard rocking second base in the red, blue, and white, right? It could make a lot of sense. And I know that sounds crazy, and I know this trade isn't going to happen, but if this was put in the table in front of me, I think I'm saying yes. That's just my opinion, though. So let me know in the comment section down below, what would you do? If you were the CBO, if you were Craig Breslow and the Yankees offered this to you, would you say yes? Would you say no? And why? And if you're a Yankee fan out there and you're watching this video, and you're Brian Cashman and this trade gets proposed to you, why are you saying yes or no as well? Let me know all your thoughts on a one-for-one trade with the Yankees, sending Doogie to the Bronx and getting Gleyber Torres in return in the comment section down below. As always, if you made it to the end of this video, do me a favor. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. If you're new here, we talk Red Sox content almost every single day. Also, make sure you guys hit the like button on this video as well. Helps these videos out a ton, and it would mean a lot to me. Thank you all very much for clicking on this one, and I will see you in the red seats.